Welcome to this gym practice. Today we will need a bolster or a big cushion that is firm and a strap for the first posture or a belt, a blanket or a big towel, and a block. You might not need the block, but if you have one, have it close to you. And we will begin in a supine posture, so laying on your back. The bolster will be placed across your mat. And then once you lay down, bring the bolster underneath your sacrum. If this feels too high, you can use a block on the flattest surface with a towel on top or the blanket. And the sacrum is right underneath the lower back, just where the lower back ends. And then you can get a little more comfortable straightening the legs. Grabbing your strap, and first have the one knee in towards the chest. I will start with my right leg, and then you can place the belt or strap on the big toe mount or so and straighten the leg. If you don't have a belt or a strap, you can grab your right hamstring. You can either have the elbows down resting on the floor as you grab the strap from the sides, or you can also bring the end of the strap behind your skull, so behind the occipital ridge or so. Sometimes your head will want to lift, and if that happens, you can place a blanket underneath the head, or the strap might also want to move towards the neck. And if that happens, again, you can adjust. Either hold it in a different way with your hands or shift it higher and place either a block or a blanket underneath your head so there is a slight force pulling down. And we will stay here for 3 minutes or so, where you become aware of your whole body. Of your breath. Begin to notice if there is any held tension in any part of your body. Begin to make each inhalation and each exhalation the same count or similar count, equal length breaths. And in the next few cycles of breath, see if you can pause or retain the breath at the top of the inhalation. Let that be followed by an exhalation. Now begin to inhale from your tailbone to your right shoulder, drawing an energetic line. Pausing from right shoulder as you draw another line from right shoulder to left shoulder as you hold the breath, and exhale from left shoulder down to your tailbone or pubic bone. Drawing an imaginary upside down triangle. And the top of the shoulders being the peak of the upper part of that upside down triangle. Slowly let your breath fade away and begin to bend the right knee, releasing the strap. You can send it behind you as you straighten the leg or do any movement that you need to do. We normally take around a minute or so in between postures, so you're always welcome to move, to do a counter posture, but whatever you do, do it ever so gently. Let this be meditative practice. As we cultivate a sharpened awareness, and then we switch sides. Left knee moves in, or the other leg in case you already did this leg. And setting up your strap, noticing if you need to loosen it up or tighten it. There was a man called Blaise Pascal who once said that all of humanity's problems stem from a man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone. So during our meditative practices, like Yin meditation, or even in our normal life, we become more observant and aware of our natural state, of how we feel when there is silence, where there is decreased stimulation that comes from outside and entertains our senses. And we simply drop into being. Bringing your attention to your tailbone. And as you inhale, drawing an imaginary line from the tailbone to left shoulder. Holding the breath from shoulder to shoulder. And then exhale from right shoulder down to the tailbone. Unless you did the other side first, in which case you can switch the direction. The most important thing here is that you're breathing in equal lengths of breath and are adding a slight retention at the top of the inhale. One more cycle. Eventually letting that breath dissolve, bending the knee. Begin to release the strap from where it is. Pause for a moment. You can bend the knees, you can release the bolster from underneath your body and rest either with the knees leaning against each other, the feet wide apart, as wide as a mat or so, or doing anything else that you need. And we will then place that bolster. So you can roll onto your side, any side, and place that bolster across your mat as it was before in your sacrum, but this time place it underneath your side ribs or so. So here you can place it underneath your right shoulder or so, or a little lower. Your head can rest on a blanket and your arms can be extended in front of you. So this is a variation of a side bend. And you can do anything you need with your legs. You can either extend one leg, keep one bent, or have both knees bent. You can explore. If you would like to extend the top arm overhead, you can also do that. In the end, it's important to know that if you ever feel any tingliness in a certain area of body, it's good to readjust your posture. When it comes to arms and they get tingly or a numbing sensation, then you can lower the arm. And only if you wish you can then go back to where you were. So dropping into stillness. Within the traditional Chinese medicine system, there are 3 treasures, or the 3 jewels. And these are the different essences or energies in our bodies. And one of them is called Qing. And it is related to the physical essence. And the issues related to these can be seen as family patterns, inherited and genetic issues, sexual problems, fertility issues, anything that has to do with our heritage or even DNA. It affects our development and growth. And it is also connected to the kidney energy, because the kidney is what stores our Qing, and that's where we inherit the Qing from our parents. You only have 2 more cycles of breath here. So to come out, you can either remove the bolster before you go on to the other side, or you can bring the top hand down and then push yourself away. I personally like to take a little twist here over to my right, and then walk the hands over to what would be your center as you realign the spine. You can either pause here, or you can find a little bit of movement. So then begin to move over to the other side, bending the knees, placing the elbow down on the floor, resting your head somewhere. Again, the hands can be together. Or you can stretch there, right arm overhead. If your bolster is really high, you can always use a cushion instead if this feels like too high for you. So the second jewel is Qi, the life force connected with air, with vapor, with breath and spirit. And it has to do with our ability to truly live life. And this Qi can become blocked, stagnant or stuck. And Qi has to do with the production and the transformation of bodily fluids, as well as our ability to retain nutrients and warmth, not only in a physical sense but also in an emotional sense. So all of these meridians that we have inside our bodies are the channels of energy that provide structure for the body as an energetic system. They are the channels that provide nourishment to the subtle energy body in the form of Qi. The meridians can be thought of as energy highways that interconnect the physical universe outside of us with the living tissue inside of us. Each person, each living organism is connected to, and in that way interconnected by a universal matrix of energy. So everything that's in here is essentially also what's there. Slowly begin to come out of the posture, taking your time as you move. You can either move towards the midline of your mat, anything that your body wants to do is welcome, as long as it's in a slow manner. And then we will do a supine twist, in which you can either place the bolster completely underneath your torso, so you would bend the knees, you would twist your torso open over to the bolster, and then you could lay on the bolster with your gaze either to one side, same side of the knees, or over to the other side. Similarly, another twist option could be laying on your side, on the side where you're in, extending the bottom leg, placing the top lower leg completely over that bolster. So the whole of the lower leg on the bolster. The higher that your knee is, the more sensations you would feel, and the further it is, the less you would feel. Then placing the hands together and drawing almost like a rainbow over your head, sending the hand and the arm all the way over to the other side of the mat. So the arms can be on a T shape, or you can place the hand which is closer to the bent knee on top of that knee. The other arm can go alongside the ear, so aware of your own inner call to do as you wish with your arms. The third jewel or treasure is Shen. And this is our soul's essence. And any issues that create a sense of imbalance or disharmony in this essence or energy are the ones related to anxiety, restlessness, even depression. So when it comes to becoming aware of what are those things that affect us internally, that affect our minds and our health, we can begin to determine which of those three essences are the ones that are connected to whatever that we experience. Many answers to any existent disease or pathology that we might have can be rooted into different emotions. It's not bad to feel emotions ever. There is a reason why they are part of our human experience. But when they become excessive, it's when they begin to create conflicts. To come out, you can either just release the leg from top of the bolster or come off the bolster if your back was on the bolster. And taking a moment in the midline of your mat or doing a counter posture, such as a little twist over to the other side, but that's where we are heading. So inviting anything that your body craves to do in a mindful way. The difference of Yin Yoga and Yang styles of yoga is that in Yin nothing needs to look in a certain way. You don't get more points from looking aligned or linear in any of the postures that you do. Begin to slowly move over to the other side, taking any of the variations you did or even changing it if the one that you did before doesn't really suit this side of the body. Placing the top leg over the bolster, and then hands together, sliding the arm over your head, and shifting it over to the other side. Any variation with the arms is welcome, even if it's different to the one you previously did. So taking Shen and the other two treasures into consideration, we can ask ourselves, what can we do better? Knowing that we are soul in a human experience, or spirit, energy, living this humanness. With the aim of creating a kinder, more loving and freer relationship with ourselves. With the many influences that we have over our minds, our bodies, our health. And hopefully choosing the actions, the thought, the words even, that better nurture a healthy relationship with these body vehicles. Noticing if there's any part in your body that is stiffening up, rigid, or unable to let go of tensions. And metaphorically breathe onto these areas. Send all of your awareness, hence your energy, to these areas of tightness, tension, and even of stagnation. Even shifting physically if that's needed. Last breath here. And slowly begin to fade the posture. Shifting to your center. The next posture is called saddle, and if you have any issues going on with the knees or have had any problems with the knees that makes them feel very sensitive and delicate, I suggest that for this posture you lay supine and then either place a bolster or a blanket underneath your knees so you could, and have a bolster crossed on the mat so your thighs are on top, your head can be resting on a blanket, or your hands can be supporting your forehead. And you can bend knees here. If the bolster is too high, you can use one block underneath each thigh or knee, or right above the knees. So it's on the thighs, but right above the knees. And I would suggest taking that modification instead. Otherwise, you can lay on your side. You can grab a block and a bolster, perhaps placing the block in a vertical angle or the second height, and placing the bolster over it. So the way that we will sit is called zigzag, and the shins are down. Here the knees can be slightly together or wider apart, and your sitting bones can be off the bolster unless you feel quite good sitting on the bolster and having the whole of your spine on the bolster. And in that case you can lay like so, but if the bolster then won't be able to support your head, it's better that you go a little lower, so your sitting bones will be all the way down, and then you can lay. And so after a couple of minutes or so, you can choose whether you stay there or you modify anything, or even if you remove the block from underneath the bolster. Taking as many modifications as you need before you find stillness. So if anything feels off in your individual body, adapt. Arms can take any position. I like to have my palms facing up, with the arms wide. No effort, no muscle engagement, not doing this. In times when we are challenged and when there are many mixed emotions in ourselves, where we feel a bit lost, confused, you can use those opportunities to enhance the inner standing, the understanding, the internal understanding of who we are, perhaps even into what we are here to do, or be. Just as some say that if life gives you lemons, make the most of it and prepare some lemonade. We use everything that shows up into our experience as a means to better ourselves. Instead of an obstacle, we can use it as an opportunity, as an extra chance. So if it's windy outside, use the wind. using what nature and life in itself gives us as a way to reshape ourselves. Take it as life wanting to work its magic creation in us. We might use this time to develop more peace, more harmony, more healing. So all these processes that we go through are life's way to update us to the most current or up-to-date intelligence in the evolutionary process. So sometimes we need to break apart to be resculpted, reshaped. Taking only 2 more breaths here. And to come out, you can either use your hands and sliding them as back as they can go. And then push through the hands, chin to chest. Either leaning forward and taking any movement that you need. I like to personally tap my toes. Sitting over to one side. Doing anything you need. And the next posture will be a variation of deer or 90-degree angle in the legs, or it can be pigeon. So for deer, you would bring your right thigh in a 90-degree angle or so, kind of straight forward, and your back thigh can also be in another line out to the side. Now that can always vary. It doesn't have to be like that. That's just a reference. Your right foot can be forward, parallel to the front of your mat, or the foot can move towards the back thigh. Back foot can move straight back, aligning with the knee, or you can bring the heel in. The other suggestion could be also a variation which is called pigeon, and it would be with one leg more straight. The right knee can be in the middle of the mat, it can be out to the side, and the front shin can always be moved forward if you wanted to. So for this one we would use a bolster to support the head to start, and then if you don't feel anything here, you do want to feel something. So if you don't feel anything here, then you take the bolster forward and you begin to fold. You can also place a blanket underneath your sitting bone, and we stay here for some time. And remember either one or the other variation. Yin Yoga to me internally does what a dam does when it collects water. And when you have been collecting water, by the time you open up the door of the dam, then the water has an extra force, a potency that allows it to run or to flow to many other places where it was meant to go or where it's intended to go. And it is like this that when we do a posture and we hold for some time in stillness, we coax chi, blood, lymph, and you can see that if you press the tip of a finger with two other fingers, you see that the finger gets white. When you release, there is a lot of blood that runs back into this area. And here is when we begin to undo or dissolve some of these blockages, stagnation in the pathways in which chi prana flows. But when there are some of these pathways that have been stuck for way too long, whether it's lack of movement or unhelpful habitual patterns, immobility. We only have one more right here, actually. Just begin to roll the hands back. Push yourself away from the bolster. Do any movement that is needed in your body. You can imagine that dam, the door being opened, and then you can begin to set up for the other side any of the two variations. Either forehead on the bolster, letting all the shifts happening externally be an opportunity for shifts to happen internally. There is a way where there is a quality in my life that I would love to feel, to experience. I can begin to cultivate it now by making the choice to do so, knowing that it is never the circumstances outside ourselves that can bring us lasting joy, but it is the molding of the internal patterns that help us find a sense of harmony even amidst conflict, uncertainty. There was a man who can be considered a spiritual leader called Jiddu Krishnamurti, and someone asked him, "What is the source of your happiness?" He said, "And I don't mind what happens." And this very simple way of being is what differentiates an ordinary man from an extraordinary one. Walking the hands back underneath your shoulders. And out of the posture. You can close the eyes to feel the movement of chi inside your body. What areas within you feel more awakened, more receptive? Finally, we will move to a last seated position where you can be either with the legs wide apart, like so, or more in a V shape or closed position with the legs towards one another to do what's called dragonfly, or it can be caterpillar. So we will also begin with the head down on the bolster, unicorn. Now is making decisions to suit your body's need. If you don't feel anything, you would be doing yourself a disservice by staying where you are. That can be a source of stagnation. Moving further into the posture if you need to. Never comparing yourself to another body. Embracing your uniqueness. There are many extraordinary beings who have stepped on this earth, just like Krishnamurti, Lao Tzu, the Buddha, Jesus, many others who have left teachings that can help us through adversities. And most of them share the essence of the teachings, which are love. Love as their ruler of our actions. Moving away from fear, moving away from attachments, without rejecting one thing or the other, not being attached to outcomes. Detach yourselves from likes, from dislikes, as they too can become the source of our misery. And that's when you don't mind what happens. You're unaffected by impermanence, by the natural cycles of nature, and you, I, and everyone become truly free. Just 5 more breaths or so here. And slowly begin to come out of the posture. Transitioning all the way down to your Shavasana, your final posture. Pausing for a moment if you need. If you need any prop to support your Shavasana, please use it. I love to place a bolster underneath my knees. If you can, use the mantra, I don't mind what happens, as you release all thoughts, all ideas, all beliefs, and you give yourself fully to this moment. Deepening each breath. Beginning to awaken your fingertips and toes. You can circle your ankles and your wrists. And finally take a big stretch if you wish. Rolling over to the side. Bringing the palms into Anjali Mudra. Hiding the thumbs in between the eyebrows. May all adversities become opportunities to improve and develop ourselves. Thumbs to the mouth. May all words become words of faith, of truth, of encouragement. And the thumbs to the heart. May all actions be guided by love and Shen. Namaste.